Well, we're all through the year and time flies when you're running your own business. So it won't be long before the holidays slow down. So I thought it was a good time to talk to you about some techniques to get customers in through your door quickly before everyone takes their vacations in sort of August and September, early September. So today I'm going to talk to you about a particular subject that is a great way of getting customers in through the door, and that is therapy marketing and retargeting. Plus, I also have a great case study that I want to share with you today from one of the therapists who used my Google Adwords course to great impact in Australia. So if you're not using retargeting in your advertising, you're missing a trick. It's such a simple concept, yet so many therapists haven't even thought about applying these principles to their marketing efforts. Now, very simply, retargeting means that you're marketing to clients who've already shown an interest in your products and your services on your website. Yes, of course, you can also retarget people who have sent you emails or maybe used your services or products in the past. But in particular, today I'm going to talk about people who have come across your website. Now, you've probably seen it in action, but never really given it much thought. So I'm going to explain it to you. Imagine that you've gone onto a website like I did the other week, and I started looking for some products for my house. Really simple products, browsing, debating whether I wanted to buy them or not. And then I move on to another website. In this particular case, you'll see it's The Guardian from the UK, a big national newspaper. And there you can see on the right-hand side, there's an advert from that very same company showing some of the products, not all of them, I might add, but some of the products that I might have browsed. And all that's happening is that somebody is re-advertising those pages to me almost as a little reminder saying, hey, don't forget you might want to buy these, and it's going to increase my likelihood of making a purchase. Therapy marketing and retargeting can do exactly the same thing for you, but only if you set it up correctly, otherwise you could be wasting your money. So how does the system work? Well, when a person heads on to your website, what is actually happening is a portion of code, a JavaScript cookie, as we would call it, is placed into that person's browser. As they continue to surf onto other sites, this cookie notifies retargeting platforms to serve up ads based on their browsing history. So if a person comes across my website and spends time looking at certain pages, let's say my stop smoking page, I can have ads set up on other sites and on other social media platforms to remind people of my service, and I can follow them around the web until eventually they pick up the phone and book with me. Now, although this is the simplified version, it's a little bit more complex to set up and to get right, but immediately you can see there's a potential there. Remember, only a small portion of your visitors to your website will convert to purchasers on their first visit. Retargeting means that you're upping your chances of success of eventually getting a sale. Now, of course, nothing is just that simple. And I'll explain. I'll tell you first of all that Google Adwords is incredibly difficult to use for retargeting in therapy. And that's because we're dealing with sensitive areas when we work with our clients. In fact, I tend to bypass that platform for this particular purpose. And I can sort of see the point that Google AdWords has. Imagine that you're browsing a web page about, I don't know, erectile dysfunction. And immediately after you've been on that, I start serving up ads to that person about the therapy that I offer to help solve the problem. But now imagine that person lives with their family and another member uses the same computer and starts seeing the ads. Immediately they start to know that another family member has got a problem, and something which should have remained private suddenly goes out into everyone knowing about it. Now, Facebook doesn't quite have such stringent rules, and retargeting therapy is possible provided you serve ads in the correct way. And if you purchase my Facebook ads course, I show you how to use this lucrative form of advertising to get more sales and leads. And there are other problems, of course, with remarketing as well. Now let's go back to the example I gave you earlier about looking at a particular website for some furniture. Now, maybe in an instance I've already purchased that piece of furniture, maybe a month or so earlier, and I was actually, I don't know, revisiting the site to print off a picture to show one of my friends, or just for information's sake, for an invoice. Suddenly, I'm still getting the ads being shown to me, and those people are wasting money on their ads because they've already made the sale. In addition, how many times have you gone to a website and browsed a product to find it's exactly the thing that you actually didn't want? Now imagine that horrible product is following you around the internet day in, day out. If anything, you're put off from ever visiting that website again, as it's had such a negative impact on you. The key to remarketing is striking the right balance between serving up ads that directly speak to a person, but doing it for just the right amount of time so it doesn't either become stale or obsolete. Now, another useful area where remarketing can be used is if someone heads onto your online shop and abandons the shopping cart without finalising the purchase. Now, statistics sort of show that around 68% of people never finish a purchase on a site. And if you think about it, that's a huge amount of money that people are leaving on the table if they're selling products. Reminding those people of your product can significantly reduce that figure. And a perfect example of how therapy marketers can use this is by adding some plugins to their site or doing some retargeting to make sure that the person is reminded that they've abandoned or left the cart. And of course, as I've said earlier, it's not too difficult to set up a remarketing campaign and retargeting previous customers that that have been through to your company. And you should be collecting emails of any visitors to your website, legally of course, and as well as those of people who've used your services. If you send them offers on information and general interesting updates, you can get additional business. This is a no-brainer. Remember, it's hard enough to attract customers who spend with you in the first place. Once you have these customers, nurture them, provide them with extra information, and make them want to buy from you again and again. And I just wanted to finally share with you a quick case study from a hypnotherapist in Sydney who's just finished my Google Adwords for Therapists online course. This therapist was a newcomer to hypnosis and had just started their therapy business in Sydney, highly competitive area. And they knew that just waiting for search engine optimization to help them get some business was going to be quite a long process, and it would probably mean that they'd be struggling financially in the short term. So they decided to try pay-per-click advertising and use my course on paid advertising for therapists to see if it could get them some clients. And this person has given their permission for me to use the statistics that they got in this case study to give you an idea of the revenue that they got as a return. So here are the numbers. They spent 914 Australian dollars, just over, to try and get new clients. And look what comes next. Total revenue, $2,740. And that meant 8 new clients with a lifetime customer value of $342. And actually, I've spoken to this person and I think we can significantly increase that. So at the moment, their percentage of advertising is 33%. In fact, they'll probably get that down significantly as well as they become more used to the system. You can see the numbers are speaking for themselves. In such a short space of time, that hypnotherapist had started to get a business off the ground really quickly. This is the power of pay-per-click advertising when it's done correctly. And as an interesting aside, this therapist made back over 20 times the cost of my course just on their first attempt of viewing the videos. Not really a bad investment, considering that they can use this particular process again and again, repeat it. So they'll find that this 20 times value will suddenly become 100, even 1,000 times value very quickly. Of course, not everyone gets it right first time, and without guidance, I've seen people make some really horrible errors and lose lots of money on AdWords because they didn't know what they're doing. And those people would have dismissed AdWords and said, well, it wasn't worth the money, when in fact it was them who had the problem rather than the system. Be careful in dabbling in something you don't understand. If you'd like to buy the Google AdWords for Therapists course, or in fact my Facebook advertising course, you can buy them on the hypnotherapymarketingexpert.com website. Both courses are introductory courses, so specifically they're designed for people who really don't know very much about AdWords, have never used pay-per-click advertising, or who want to be able to set themselves up really quickly to try and get customers in through the door. And both can be pretty lucrative. They're designed for you to make more money back than you're spending, but you have to follow the advice and set things up correctly. Please don't just go ahead by yourself and just start dabbling in these systems, because it is a great way to lose lots of money. Anyway, until the next video, I wish you happy marketing.